Let me close by saying to you that long after people forget what has been said in this court, all the words that you've heard from witnesses and lawyers, and long after they forgotten about accounts that they've read about this case, they're going to remember what was done. They're going to remember what action you took, what decision you came to. You have got to understand the monumental importance of your decision. You're going to forget everything I've said, everything defense counsel has said here, everything the witnesses have said. They're going to remember one thing: the ruling of this jury, the verdict of this jury. Because you have heard evidence that has never before been put on in a court of law. Some of it would have been put on in Mr. Ray's trial if he had ever been granted a trial. It wasn't heard. Judge Brown was on the verge of granting that trial, on the eve, in our view, so close to granting that trial. And then he was removed by the Court of Appeal in this state from the case. Summarily removed without any argument. Any oral argument before they made that decision. So Mr. Ray never had the trial. It was in his dying months when he might have gotten that trial. The Court of Appeal finished that possibility. Only you have heard this. People in the United States of America have not heard this. The masses of people in this country or the world have not heard this. They've heard snippets. They've heard edited clips on various documentaries and programs. But no one has heard the detailed evidence that you have. That is why your decision at this point in time is the most significant decision that will have been taken in 31 years in terms of this case. Please don't underestimate the importance of it. In our view, what has happened in this case, the injustice that has happened in this case, and it may be symptomatic of other cases. We don't know. We haven't gotten into them. We've just focused on this case. But what has happened here, in our view, is representative of the failure. It symbolizes, to me, the failure of representative democracy in this country. Isn't that amazing? Why one could say that over a simple murder case. But when you look at the wealth of evidence that has come forward, you understand how this case has been conducted, and you understand how it's been covered up. And when you see how unresponsive elected officials and government has been, and how complicit they have been, you can come to no other choice. Governmental agencies caused Martin Luther King to be assassinated. They used other foot soldiers. They caused this whole thing to happen. And they then proceeded with every powerful means at their disposal to cover this case. This is a conspiracy that involves, and that's a nasty word. People insult people in this country who use the word conspiracy. Nowhere else in the world, as Bill Schaap told you, is it viewed that way. In Italy and France, conspiracies taken for granted because they've lived with it so much longer. But remember that there were 39 daggers going into Caesar. These things do not happen as a rule without the involvement of other people, and in this case, this type of murder, without the involvement of seriously prominent individuals in government. So, it is, in my view, a failure of this democracy and this republic that it has not been able to bring this forward. What we're asking you to do at this point in time is send a message. We're asking you to send a message, not just right or wrong. That's important, that you right or wrong and that you allow justice to prevail once and for all. Let it prevail, let justice and truth prevail else the heavens fall. No matter what, let it prevail. Let it come forward. And we're asking you to let that happen. But in addition to that, we're asking you to send a message. Send a message to all of those in power, all of those who would manipulate justice in this country, that you can not get away with this. Or if you can get away with it, you can only get away with it for so long. Ultimately, truth crushed to earth will rise again, and it has risen in this courtroom, ladies and gentlemen. Send that message. You 12, represent the American people. You are their representatives with respect to justice in this case. They cannot be here. The media will keep the truth from them forever. You represent the people of this land. You must speak for them. In all of my years, I have had confidence in one institution anywhere in the Anglo-American world, and it is a jury. It's 12 people independently come, hearing evidence and ruling. That's you. You have this duty to yourselves, this obligation to your fellow citizens, and you have an opportunity to act in the most significant way that perhaps you can ever imagine. Because your verdict of conspiracy in this case, your verdict of liability for the defendant and his other co-conspirators, means history is rewritten. Means textbooks have to be rewritten. Means the actual result of this case and the truth of this case now must come forward formally. And this message also will be sent to the Attorney General of the United States, whose team are investigating, in a limited way, they say, this case. You have heard much more. So that is why this message is so important. Please send it. On behalf of the family of Martin Luther King Jr., on behalf of the people of the United States, I ask you to find for the plaintiff, find that conspiracy existed, and that those conspirators involved not only the defendant here, but we're dealing in conspiracy with agents of the city of Memphis and the governments of the state of Tennessee and the United States of America. We ask you to find that conspiracy existed, and once and for all, give this plaintiff family justice, and let's cleanse this city and this nation of the ignorance that has pervaded this case for so long. Let the truth reign in this courtroom once and for all. Thank you.